What's up, garden friends? Jeff here, Tropical Plant Party, and today we're talking about the pineapple lily. The pineapple lily, there's several varieties. There's Eucomis camosa and Vanda milter, I believe. Maybe that's how you pronounce it. It could be wrong. But the Eucomis in general are an awesome plant. From afar, you can see they have this lovely bromeliad shape. The whole plant comes up as a rosette and looks really cool. But the main feature of this plant, and the reason it has its name, is the flower. You can see atop the flowers they have leaves, and the flowers resemble a pineapple. There are many varieties of pineapple lily. This one right here is Eucomis sparkling burgundy, which I believe is a Plant Delights hybrid. This is from Plant Delights Nursery. And typically, this pineapple lily has very dark burgundy colored foliage, but it's not getting full sun here. So it's more green than red. If you want that deep red, it needs a lot of sun. And it used to get full sun, but you know, trees grow. And as they grow, things get shaded. So maybe eventually I'll move this, but it has developed over many years into a very nice clump, so it's going to be staying here for the time being. Eucomis like really good, well-drained soil, but they're not super picky. They're a really tough plant that'll grow for you in most conditions as long as their roots aren't waterlogged. So just nice, well-drained soil and full sun. They can take some shade, obviously, as this is getting a fair amount of shade here. It's also still morning. This gets, you know, a good 3 to 4 hours at least of very intense afternoon sun. And I know 3 to 4 hours doesn't really qualify past shade, but of hot afternoon sun, it's a lot. And it might even be more than that. It shifts throughout the year as the sun moves around from spring and summer. So it's probably maybe more along the 5 to 6. But some of that is dappled sun. You can kind of see the dappling coming in now. Now, if this were getting full sun, the foliage would be really dark red and the flowers would be a little bit more stout and not quite as elongated. But since the flowers are still growing straight up on their own, I'm not concerned about moving it just yet. The Eucomis are all native to South Africa, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. There's some that are very low growing, like a ground cover, and they're really cool looking. I don't have any of those right now. I have one, but it's so tiny that it's not really even worth looking at. There's some that have polka dot leaves. There's some that get much larger. There's some hybrids that have really thick leaves on them that look really neat. I have selected this one because I liked the color contrast, and it was rated as being good through zone 6B and up. And a lot of what I've read online, specifically through Missouri Botanical Gardens website, says that the Eucomis really are not hardy in zone 6, but I have never had an issue with any of my pineapple lilies coming back ever. So I think that does depend a lot on location, and if you're concerned if you live in zone 6, and I think zone 5, you could very likely just make sure it has really well-drained soil and dump a big bag of mulch on top of it, a thick heaping layer of mulch, and it should survive okay for you. But if you really don't know, then go ahead and dig it up and store the bulbs just like you would anything else. This plant grows from a bulb. One of the things I love about this plant, one of the many things I love about the Eucomis, is that the flowers on these guys last like 6 to 8 weeks, and that's a really long time. And that's partially because they slowly rise up from inside the rosettes. There's a small clip of that in one of my gardening vlogs from weeks back, where they just arise and they kind of almost slither their way up, and it's so cool to watch that change. It's like every single day there's something slightly new about the plant, and then they start flowering from bottom to top. All these little buds open up and it rises all the way up there. The Eucomis is a great candidate for adding a striking tropical effect to your garden if you don't live someplace tropical, because the plant itself really does look like a bromeliad. And I think these flowers will probably last on here into August. Right now it is early July, so there's lots of time to sit back and get to enjoy the show here. And now you can see along the base how there is some speckling, and on some of the hybrids that will be much more noticeable. This is a hybrid, but it's not hybridized to be speckled, it's hybridized to be a deep burgundy color, which is lacking. Maybe if I prune the bananas, whoa, they'll get a little bit more sun. And now, standing back from afar, you can see that the Eucomis is a wide plant. So give them plenty of room to grow if you're not getting one of the low-growing dwarf hybrids. Those low-growing dwarf hybrids, I have seen them in rock gardens and they look really cool. Alright, that'll do it for today. Aren't these guys cool? Let me know if you're growing pineapple lilies, or if you know anybody who is, any care tips you might have on them. And I hope everybody's doing well. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you already haven't. Keep on growing, everybody. Bye-bye.